Greetings, weary traveler, come, warm yourself by the fire, and let us regale you with mighty tales, tales of adventure, tales of heroism, and of course, Tales of Tamriel. I'm your host, Arkhaniir, and we have a lot to talk today. But before all that, introducing the Giggle Queen herself, the joy of the show, HyperPixie Games. How's it going, Pixie?
Going great.
I almost forgot how to start the show because we've skipped an episode. Like, if you skip one episode, I just forget everything. It's just all gone.
I hear that. I skipped an episode. Well, obviously, we both skipped an episode, and then I also skipped a stream. So whenever I tried to stream on Thursday, I was like, I don't even know how to do any of this anymore. So I understand.
Do I click? Okay, do I just hit the PC with a screwdriver and it works?
Well, like, I understood, like, hit the go live button, but then, like, whenever it came time for me to actually say something, which, to be fair, I never know how to start a stream properly, but it was just, it felt extra awkward.
Yeah, just now I was like, okay, I did the intro, now how did I introduce people again? How did that work?
It doesn't help that Lotus always goes first, and Lotus isn't here, so it already throws off your roll.
This is actually, wait, is this the first time we are on Tales together? Like, without any of the others? Because you and Lotus did a bunch of shows. Lotus and Promethean did some. It was never Pixie versus Ark, yeah. This is...
versus Ark. I thought we were just gonna, like, call a truce and just pick on Lotus while he's not here to defend himself, like we do all the time.
That is given. That is just expected. That is the usual flow of things. Time to blame Lotus, as Slaps says in chat. Exactly. But
Pixie versus Ark, I know who's winning that one, says Jon Snow in chat. And yes, I know who's winning that one too, because I already won in Cyrodiil, so...
You didn't win in Cyrodiil.
My friends
Your
did.
group won against me, a singular character. You had a full group.
You could have brought a full group. Still would have won.
Fair enough. Alright, so today we are going to talk about the news from ESOLive with the new Dungeon DLC being announced. However, before that, I gotta give a shout out to our first champion of DCN, which is our highest tier on Patreon, Zimurji aka Robert. He pledged and became the first champion of the network, and it is really, really appreciated. Honestly, that's like, when I set those tiers up, I wasn't expecting a champion to appear right off the bat, but he came through, and all those Patreon, like, the revenue, it'll go back into improving the show, and at some point allowing me to do this full-time, so I can basically stream and create shows pretty much every day of the week. Probably not weekends, because then I'll be doing this as a job, so I still want my weekends. We'll see. Anyway, Robert, thank you so very much for that pledge. I still don't know the terminology of Patreon very well, so I'm like, wait, are they pledges, patrons? What is going on? Anyway, so
thank you.
We got a champion, and
which is super generous.
It is. It's not especially during the time we are in. It is extra generous. So it's really appreciated. So I'm actively updating the show. So delaying a little bit in my brain. Right. So on Thursday, which I was actually thinking it would be Friday, because ESOLive always used to be Friday. So I missed watching it live. But on Thursday there was an ESOLive with Jessica, Gina, and Mike Finnegan announcing the next Elder Scrolls Online DLC for Q3, which is a dungeon DLC, and it is called Stonethorn. Now the name is so one of the dungeons is called Castlethorn, and the other one is Stone Garden, and Apparently they just didn't want to think too much and just merged the names. And Stonethorn was better than Castle Garden, so yeah.
That joke made me laugh really hard. Never considered. Castle Garden would be a really nice name for a little happy update, though.
Honestly, I would have gone with the Thorn Garden. It's just...
Oh, that would have made sense.
Yeah, struggle bus, you know, it's painful, it's struggle. You take one step and you just... Because it's a Thorn Garden, you just get stabbed everywhere. It would have made sense.
I will say, if you, like, picture a stone wrapped in thorns and then imagine getting hit with that stone, it would probably really hurt worse than trying to traverse a thorn garden.
That is true. That may have been what they thought about. Because knowing Finn, especially for the first couple months, because they usually do nerf dungeons after a while to, I guess, allow everyone to do them. But for the first couple months, they are going to be as painful as it gets. At least that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. Because we've been clearing hard modes with our Untaunted group left and right. We need some challenge.
I'm really excited about some of the mechanics that they kind of like talked about, that they didn't really go into how you'd use it during the actual fight, but like whenever they were doing the whole, we're telegraphing this for you, so make sure you pay attention, which is something that I don't do, and I know you don't either, based on the time Finn watched your stream. We literally showed this to you 5 minutes ago. So it was more of that, and it had to do with throwing the scythe thing, and it looked really cool. And you got little bloppy buddies with you.
Bloppy buddies. So I actually didn't watch the entire dungeon parts because I'm planning on hopping into PTS this week, and I want to be like, ooh, during PTS. So what are the blob things?
They look like almost clear, you know, the hemoglobins, the red blob things.
Mm-hmm.
They look like those, but smaller, and then mostly translucent, but like with a red core. And they just follow you around and apparently help you somehow.
So they went ahead and added another semi-transparent thing to a dungeon. Could they please stop that? I'm having so much difficulty seeing everything.
It's like kind of a whitish, like I could see it, but now thinking about the background, how it's mostly gray stone, I could see how that would be really difficult to see.
So in Moongrave Fane, they had red and black background with red and black semi-transparent creatures. And now in Stonethorn, they have grayish background with grayish semi-transparent stuff.
The contrast is higher. It's not as bad.
Good.
Because I was able to see them, or maybe it was just Finn's thing was highlighting them white, but it looked like they were higher contrast, so I think you should be okay. But they're on your side anyway, so it's not like you're having to target them and attack them.
Well, if they are around during the fight, they'll still muddle things up.
True. You're not wrong.
Yeah. So, Stonethorn DLC will actually be on PTS on Monday, if I remember correctly. I watched it very sleepily, so I might be wrong, but I remember them mentioning that it's going to be on PTS on Monday. So if you want to update your PTSs or install your PTSs now, well, this show probably will be released on Monday anyway, so, well, remember to get the PTS. I mean, it doesn't really give you an incentive to log into PTS, but testing is important. You know, there have been times where feedback actually did change, did affect combat changes and things like that. So definitely, if you're interested, join the PTS and give feedback according to, well, what you are interested in the game. So, Stonethorn, we are getting 2 new dungeons. Both of them have quite gothic themes because vampires, which I hate, both gothics and vampires, like gothic architecture, not goths. I need to clarify this. I have no quarrel with the goth style. It's just that I had gothic architecture and vampires. I have a quarrel with vampires. So there's that. We just lost Pixie.
The look on your face whenever you realized what you just said.
Yeah, I was like, Just make an
no.
enemy of all goth people. Yeah, why not?
So I actually do like vampires and gothic architecture, and seeing the inside of the dungeon was just gorgeous. And the entire time I was watching Finn just kind of run through them, I was like, ooh, I'm going to get a screenshot of that, and I'm pretty sure that is how I'm going to spend my entire first time in the dungeon, is just running around taking pictures of things. And then the gear set in the werewolf dungeon, Stone Garden, that gear set looks awesome because it has the little like potion vials that are like glowing green, and it kind of reminds me of the what was it, Toxin Doctor?
Plague Doctor? No.
Costume. It was a costume.
Well, it's a Plague Doctor.
Something.
But
yeah, essentially.
I don't remember the name of the costume, but it was a Plague Doctor costume.
Right. And it looked really, really cool. He was wearing the heavy set, and it still had those little vials. And I know you said you didn't want to see too much, so can I talk about the special mechanic in there? Okay.
Yeah.
So something that was really interesting is at a certain point in the dungeon, there are these like vials thrown down, and you're able to synergize on them, and it turns you into a werewolf behemoth. And you just go Hulk smash everything. And they were saying, we want to make sure that everybody has fun with this mechanic. So at the very end, for the last boss, everyone has to transform in order to beat it. So usually it's just 2 at a time. But at the very end, they want all of you to at least transform one time to be able to get that job done.
Okay, now I'm interested.
It looks amazing. And
now I kind of want to
really
take
excited.
Monday off of work. I mean, I shouldn't say this because my lead actually watches the show as well, but I kind of want to call in sick now. I mean, like, just jump into PTS and play.
I mean, just convince your lead to call off sick too, and then just take him through the dungeon. And there you go.
Yeah.
If he's doing the same thing, then you're good to go.
He doesn't play ESO, but he watches the show. I couldn't convince him to actually jump in. Maybe one day.
I do think that I'm going to wait until live to get into the dungeon part of it. Just because I do plan to do a live vet run of them. Blind vet run. I can't talk today. But I wanted to do it completely blind, so I didn't want to go in and especially if there's a bug or something that makes it more or less difficult than it should be. I just want to wait until live for that actual dungeon. But yeah, they both look gorgeous. Especially, I think my favorite was there was a scene on a bridge in Blackreach. There's like an outer part of the dungeon, and then you go inside to the laboratory of sorts. And outside, there's this big lava flow under this bridge, and the lighting in there that we saw for just a brief period of time was just incredible. Between that and then the big open, whenever you walk into Castle Thorn and you see the red ivy and everything, it was stunning. And I cannot wait to be able to explore in there. After we kill things in the room, just run around and look at stuff.
There's gonna be so much time spent on screenshot again. I mean, that's the whole point of doing dungeons, taking a screenshot. That's what matters.
It's better than the skin.
Yeah. I mean, the skin. Well, we talked about this a lot, but I'm kind of upset that they give the skin on just Veteran Clear, and give just a title for hard mode. I would rather have something visible for hard mode as well. So. It is what it is.
I think it'd be good to do this either a skin or a pet for the regular vet, and then the other one for a hard mode. So still give you the skin for the regular vet clear, and then give you a pet or something. And then if you get the trifecta, give you a mount. Yeah, I think that would be fun.
I mean, they could adjust it, but at least give something maybe a slightly upgraded version of the skin for hard mode, just so that you can show that, hey, I cleared the hard mode, Yeah. Because you can only show one title. Whereas if they mixed and matched a pet, mount, skin, costume, hat for different dungeon hard modes, you could be like, hey, look, I cleared all of these, you know?
Yeah.
So you could show them off at the same time. That would be nice. Because, I mean, I really, really do enjoy showing off that I cleared something, because I'm proud of achieving it, because it's not easy. Like, it takes work, it takes, you know, we spend time on it. So I would like to be able to show it off, instead of just showing off crown store things that scream, hey, I spent money on this. We all do. We all spend money on this. I don't want to acknowledge the amount of money I spend on this, because whenever I think about it, it hurts me. It's, I mean, the things behind me cost more than the computer next to me. It doesn't make any sense.
It's like, hey, I have a crown crate addiction. Look at my mushroom mount. Isn't it cool? Something else so it was the Black Reach one, I think. So Stone Garden. That one actually brings in what they've been doing with the newer trials, where every boss has its own hard mode.
Yeah. Okay, I actually had forgotten about that. I'm happy that you brought it up. I like that change. I really like that change.
And there's also, now it's the banner that can be toggled on and off instead of reading a scroll. So you have that visual representation. Because I know there have been times where I won't remember, especially if it's late into the night because we've been throwing ourselves at a thing for hours. There are times where I won't remember if we read the scroll or not. And so it's really good to have that visual representation there. Like, okay, we can go ahead and fight this. But yeah, I really like those changes, and I think it's going to be really fun. They did only do it with the one dungeon, though, so the other one is normal. Just the final boss has the hard mode, and that's it. So it seems like something they're just kind of like feeling out to see if players like this. I'm excited about it because it does add difficulty throughout the dungeon instead of just being the exact same the second time, and you just have to change up things a bit for the hard mode. So.
Yeah. And as for the banner, another nice thing is, so at the moment, if you activate hard mode, you are done. The hard mode is activated. And there are times I reflexively activated hard mode during a no-death run. That was going fine until the final fight. And then I run in there, and I'm like, read. And bam, there goes the no. So it will be nice to be able to actually turn the hard mode off for those times.
How many times have you done that?
I don't know. Couple, maybe more.
That would be so painful. I would just cry.
I don't want to acknowledge.
Have you ever done that on accident and then beaten the hard mode with no deaths?
No.
Oh. Well, that's fine. I was going to be impressed for a minute there, but no.
What else from the dungeons that we should mention? I'm thinking.
Oh, so the final boss of Castle Thorn, Lady Thorn herself, has gotten a lot of traction on Twitter, and I have to say that she looks like an absolute badass, and I love her. And I cannot wait to fight her because she just looks incredible, and she looks like she's going to be a pain to kill.
I actually saw a tweet about it. I don't remember who it was from. Or if it was someone retweeted it. So it's like, Zas, hey look, we added this cute vampire lady. Everyone in ESO fam, I want to marry the vampire lord lady.
I mean, cute isn't the exact word I would use to describe her.
No. They mentioned like what was the name of the Bosmer vampire?
Gwendis.
Yeah, they are talking about Gwendis, so it's like, Zas, hey, we added Gwendis, which is a cute vampire. Everyone else, I want to wear the big vampire lord.
You know, the big vampire lord lady, she is awesome. Gwendis is also awesome for different reasons, but oh my god, that boss looks incredible.
Also, okay, so English question. Is lady the female translation of lord? Like, are they same title-wise? That works.
Yes.
Like, so it's not a vampire lord lady, it's a vampire lady, right?
Well,
technically.
That one I actually don't know about. Vampire lady, like whenever I hear vampire lady, I think of like a lady who like a girl who happens to be a vampire. Because the weird thing about the word lady is like I could be like, hey lady, can you please get out of my way? Or I could be like, Lady Elswith, Your Honor, please grant me some land. So I think it would still be I would just say female vampire lord or vampire lord lady, which is that one just feels off too. We're gonna have to just ask Zoss what she should be called.
We're just gonna tweet
question,
Lemon Turtle and
is it vampire lady? Because I don't know, I just hear vampire lady and I'm just like, that's any female vampire, nothing special.
I just got stuck to this because when I was rapidly saying it, I was like, vampire lord lady. Wait, lord lady? What is it? So, it just occurred to me that I don't know whether, like, whichever one is the correct way to describe a vampire lord lady one.
This is one of those weird things in English that is just, like, hard, so...
Right, so, those are the DLCs, but, well, those are the dungeons of the DLC. But as usual, we are also getting some more stuff with the DLC. And one of the most interesting ones, especially from a lot of people, and I actually did a short Twitter poll, and out of 100 people, like 48% said they are more excited about the housing updates than the dungeons themselves. So yeah, we are also getting a housing update, which is something I've been waiting for a long time. You know how everything you put into your house, whether if they are alive or not, they just stand still and like maybe do a little animation. That is no longer going to be the case. Finally, we are going to be able to do a predetermined path with delays, loops, various destinations and things like that. Basically a node-based pathing system for the house that will allow your mounts, pets, assistants to be able to move around the house instead of just standing there like a statue. Which is amazing because finally, like, it took them long enough.
And there are so many things that I can see the community doing with this. Like, it was even mentioned on stream that Jess wants to make her pets race each other. Ooh. And that alone, setting up pet racing rings and mount racing rings would just be so cool. Especially like the arena house, so it's already kind of circular. Just have mounts running around the outside of that the whole time. It would, I think you can also just like walk around randomly, which is probably what I'm going to do with most of mine because I am not that creative of a person. But it's going to be so nice to have things that like actually move, so that way your house actually feels like it's alive and that there's something going on in there instead of just how I have Izabi sitting at a bar with a drink in front of her.
And I really want to do so. You know how I have Hunter's Glade, which is built to be a massive dense forest, because the game doesn't have one and it was annoying me, so I built one instead. I put like 650 trees and bushes into it, and it's finally turning into a tree. I want to get the hound from the Greymoor collectors and just make it silently lurk about in the forest. So at random points, it just pops into your face. And I think that is going to be awesome. Fun. Yeah. And maybe some deers and whatnot as well.
I'm gonna have to make an EU tune just to go see this in person.
Yeah, you should. I am proud of the houses I made so far. So I enjoy like giving tours to people. It is fun. And another thing is, so since it's Hunter's Glade, it's in Hircine's hunting's grounds. So the entire purpose of the place is hunting. But there's nothing to hunt because everything is static, so it looks boring. But now I can actually put like deer in there, tigers, deer, bears, things like that, like the hunters and the prey. And I can, like, we'll be able to adjust their speed, like walking speed, running speed. We'll be able to adjust nodes and things like that. So I could do like, I could make the deers fast and tigers, for example, is a little bit slow, so it would constantly look like they are chasing, you know. A lot of possibilities. Wow. A lot of possibilities. I also heard, now I couldn't get to watch the entire thing from start to finish. I had to like find the highlights. But I heard, not in the show but outside, housing NPCs. Mm-hmm. Did they mention that in ESOLive?
They called them house guests, and they said specifically, you know, it's great that you can have Izabi in your house, but now she can have friends over. And they mentioned that they would be at least semi-unique and collectible, and that they would all have like different outfits and stuff. So like the way I understood it is if you and I found the same collectible character, like they might come over to our houses dressed completely differently or something. There'll be something kind of semi-unique. I don't know if it's random. They didn't really go too much into detail on this, but that was just what I picked up. It was like very quickly mentioned, and then they moved on to other things. Nice. I don't remember if that was when they started doing the dungeon stuff or not, but it sounded really, really cool. And I don't know how you're going to collect them, but I remember hearing collectible and I remember hearing unique. And it's going to be so cool to just have these characters potentially just show up at your house. I don't know how it works, but I can't wait to hear more about it. And I'm hoping, I know the dungeons are supposed to be on PTS Monday, which I'm not going to touch those until those hit live, but I do want to check out the housing stuff on the PTS because I'm really excited about those.
Yeah, and honestly, this is the best housing update ever because I have a mead hall, but it's empty. Unless you bring people over to it. I want an actual lively place. And I have a mead hall, so now if I can actually put people in there, like NPCs, and make them go around, do animations and things like that, that is gonna be beautiful. That is gonna be amazing.
I can't wait to see what the housing community does with all of this. Like, I enjoy ESO housing, but I don't want to say I'm new to it because like I have houses that have furniture in them, but compared to these crazy housing mancers I see who just do these incredible things, I am a total noob at housing. It's so I can't wait to see what creative people do with this that I can copy.
Like, I saw someone build what's the name? Hold on. Barad-dûr, the Tower of Barad-dûr. Basically Sauron's eye. Out of Daedric thrones. Hundreds of them.
That's really cool.
And when you look from afar, it actually looks like it because the structure, you know, the Lord of the Rings orcish structures and armor and everything like that, they are very similar to Elder Scrolls Daedric, you know, the spiky, pointy style. So it looks, I was like, what is that? How did you build this? And then you get up close and it's just Daedric thrones, hundreds of Daedric thrones. Because they once gave them for free. Even I had like 800 Daedric thrones in my bank at some point because why not? They were free.
I saw Shimmer turn the Velothi Harbor House into a Hobbit house.
Oh.
That was pretty cool.
Oh, that makes sense.
It was a long time ago, so I don't know if she has it posted anywhere, but it was really, really cool to watch.
Some people really do. Like, I know someone made a flying Dwemer ship. I've seen like a giant robot looking thing. There are so many amazing people. Honestly, the editor of Elder Scrolls Online's housing, in terms of object placement and everything like that, it's better than the Unity 3D game engine. Like, you can make a better place in Elder Scrolls Online, a better scene in Elder Scrolls Online that works, than you can in Unity 3D, which is a game engine.
Wow.
Like, that is how good ESO's housing system is. It is super intuitive. It allows you to place everything. And now that they brought precision, it's even better.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it is. ESO's housing is, I think, the best out there in terms of the gaming space. Like, yeah, I don't think any other game. Yeah, I don't think any other game allows this level of customization.
I've heard Fallout 76 is really good, but I haven't tried that one.
They might even be using the same engine, to be honest. I don't know. Like, they might have the same structure behind, so... But
well,
yeah, I never played it.
Now got housing too, so it's fairly new on that end. But I've heard that you can do some crazy things over there too. But yeah, it could just be the same engine altogether.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Also, another update. I think that's the final point. We are getting 2 people mounts.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how. But basically, we will be able to. So there will be. You will jump on a mount, and anyone in your group will be able to just hop back, hop behind you, and you'll just ride together. Because why not?
So I briefly played Final Fantasy XIV, and multiple player mounts have been a thing over there for a while. So 2-player mounts have been a thing for a really long time. And they semi-recently, introduced a 4-seater mount because it's a car, so there's a back seat. Oh. And the good thing with that is, say that you are helping somebody level a low B tune who doesn't have their mount speed leveled, they're able to just hop onto your mount, so that way you're not waiting on their Poke mount to go somewhere. Especially like in Cyrodiil, for example, if I were to take my Nord into Cyrodiil, it would be a very painful time because she has 1% mount speed. Oh. But I would just need one of my friends with a fully trained mount, and I could just hop on the back and good to go.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's an ease of it's a quality of life update that would be really, really nice for when somebody's leveling a lobby.
I will 100% use it to just jump off cliffs with people, though.
Yeah,
I'll just lure someone to my mount and jump away. Because why not?
It looks like it's going to be hilarious. I can imagine. Just jump straight into Slaughterfish and it'll be perfect.
Oh, yes. Oh, giving me
it's
ideas.
Evil, but perfect.
Yeah. So Slap says Fallout 76 uses Creation Engine. I'm pretty sure ESO uses Havoc or a modified version of Havoc. So ESO's physics engine is Havoc. That I know. However, I think they have Havoc integrated into whatever engine they are using, because Havoc is a physics engine. I don't think it fully supports just like building an entire game. It just got integrated into Unity as well. I remember reading something about ESO using a hero engine or something that they made.
That sounds familiar. I heard it was an older engine.
Yeah. Hero engine or something like that, but I don't really remember. I mean, the game's opening might even have the name that we never looked. It does say Havoc engine, but I think Havoc only handles the physics side of things, so I'm not entirely sure. Yeah.
I'm not well versed in game engines. I know what Unity and Unreal are, and that's pretty much the extent of it.
Okay, Hero sounds familiar to Slaps as well. I know ESO started, they started prototyping ESO on Unity at first. It was, the prototype of ESO was made in Unity, as far as I know, and then they switched engines, which in hindsight was a very, very good decision, because making an MMORPG in Unity would have been pain. I'm glad they saved themselves from that struggle bus. And at the moment, if you look at ZeniMax Carriers, they are looking for Unity developers every now and then, but that's probably for their mobile games. But yeah, we do know they are working on a new AAA title, ZeniMax Online Studios, for the last a year or two. We just don't know what it is at all. But they did bring people from veterans from games like Destiny, other MMORPGs. I don't remember the full list, but I remember 5-6 veteran developers and designers from RPGs and shooters and MMORPGs. So that makes me kind of think about Elder Scrolls Online version of Fallout. Not Fallout 76, but more like an MMORPG than a sandbox-ish game. Because, I mean, what do you do really when you bring together RPG, MMO, and shooter people? You get Fallout. That's...
Right. I think that'd be cool. No, I'd never played a Fallout game, to be honest, but I think it'd be cool to try. Maybe that would be a good introduction to Fallout for me, but it depends, I guess, on how long. I mean, it took them 10 years to release ESO.
Yeah.
So maybe it would come out since Fallout is still fairly new, Fallout 76, it would have to be something way in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess we'll know. I mean, when you bring together that many veteran developers, you are planning something good. So well, no. Well, whenever they release it, we'll just start a podcast about it, and not release it, but announce it. We'll just start a podcast about it and talk it then.
We don't even know what this game is, but we're going to talk about it for 3 hours.
Yeah. The Unknown Zos Game podcast. Okay, so Kinara actually found a message from the forums from Zas Tristan. Hi folks, when we began development for ESO, we licensed the Hero engine so that we could hit the ground running. We used it as a tool for things like area prototypes and design concepts so that we could begin honing the art style. Hero engine was our whiteboard, a great tool to put our ideas in the game and seeing them while the production engine was in development. Okay, so they did develop their own engines, okay. And nowhere it mentions Unity, so I don't know how I got the idea that ESO was prototyping Unity. I don't know. I'm
glad they didn't put themselves through that torment from what you were saying.
Yeah. Guess they never did.
They thought better of that one.
We should have just asked Gina when she was on.
You see, that
actually, we may have asked Gina, and then maybe that's how I remember anything about Unity. I don't know. I will have to.
I'm gonna watch that one back.
Yeah, it's. I did watch it back once, but it's been a while. Being quite some time.
I can't listen to the sound of my own voice. Gina back. Yeah, absolutely. I am down for that anytime.
Yeah. Alright, what else? In terms of news... so with Update 27, there will also be another set of performance updates, performance improvements. But we are not gonna get into that on the show because it can get technical and there's really no point in discussing it because it will either work or not work and we will see after the update. So nothing we talk about it on the show will have any meaning in terms of performance and what they're planning and their effects. So yeah. Anything else you want to mention in terms of news?
I guess it's kind of old news now because it's actually already out, but that goat mount in game, that ram, looks awesome.
I am so on the fence about it because at one side it's 3,000 crowns and I already have very nice mounts. But at the same time, it's a ram. I just keep thinking about the Hobbit code. Send in the goats by Day in Ironfoot. It's what is the animation it does and what's the sound it makes when you do standing still space thing?
So I don't have it, but I would like to demo this.
Well, our raid
but I don't have it.
Our raid / dungeon lead Luna has it, and I was today when we were doing yesterday now. When we were doing dungeons, I was like, oh yeah, you should show it after the dungeons, and then we forgot. So I still don't know.
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
It does look really cool though. I've seen it. I just haven't paid attention to the animations and I don't know what sound it makes.
I just really wish it looked a little bit angrier. Just a tad bit more angry. You know what I mean?
You don't want a happy goat?
No, it's a ram. It's supposed you are supposed to ride it into battle. It should look a little bit angry.
See, this is my argument against Squars entirely. I still think it looks cool. I didn't check out the armored version of it, and I should have. Next time I play ESO, I'm going to do that. Because maybe with the armor it looks more angry? I don't know.
Wait, what? The Guar?
Oh, I said the Guar looks too nice. And that's the argument you're making for the ram is the same argument I make against the guar, is that it just looks too nice. You can't ride that thing into battle.
Okay, look, when you came on the show, you said guar looked weird, not nice. What is happening, Pixie? What's happening here?
Like they look weird and out of place because they look too friendly. Like if I want to ride on a bipedal mount into battle, I'm gonna pick the Kagudi hands down because it looks like it's going to hurt you.
Okay, I feel lied to.
What is the guar going to do to you?
I feel lied to. I feel cheated because when you said guar looks weird, you didn't give any context as to they look weird because they look nice.
I specifically called it a derpy T-Rex.
I feel...
I didn't lie, I just said it was weird.
You sneaked around the truth.
Oh, is a ram a sheep? Oops, this whole time I've been calling it a goat.
Yeah, it is.
And apparently a ram is a sheep. Wow. You're just gonna let me sound stupid until chat tried to save me over here.
Honestly, SD is more talking about me saying send in the goats, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because that's the...
Well, I've been saying happy goat the whole time too, so it's been both of us.
Yeah. I mean, they both have horns, so shush. Alright, well, that brings us to Tales, actually. So, do you want to go first?
Sure. So I have been having a lot of stuff going on that's been super stressful in real life. So I've been trying to just take things nice and easy in game. So Lore Seeker Trials got canceled last week because of the holiday. There were going to be a lot of people who were going to be out because they were spending the day with their families. And so I've just been doing the Solitude dailies to try to get the new motifs and any new recipes or the furnishing recipes. And speaking of furnishing recipes, I've actually actively started decorating Proudspire Manor now that I have it. Ooh. And I built a bar downstairs, so like a little mini tavern. And since I have multiples of the Throne of the Snow Prince, there's a little fireplace downstairs there that I have a fire going in. I have a couple chairs arranged, those thrones arranged around that. It's like a little seating area for anybody who wants to come. I have kegs. I've started working on a little storage room. The upper floors of the house, including like the entry floor, are like completely bare. But I am happy with the way the tavern downstairs is coming. And then also on the porch, I want that to be like a plant area. Since apparently planting is like gardening is super fun right now since we can't leave our houses that much. So I have vines all over the walls and draping over like the sides of the porch and a couple of fire pits out there. And so that's going to be like my hangout area. And I still need to get more furniture to put throughout the rest of the house because most of the furniture I have is in my Alanor Crest townhouse, which it's magic based. So I wanted it to look like a mage's house. So floaty books, lots of crystals, and alchemical stuff.
Well, if you bring those filthy Altmeri furniture into Proudspire Manor, that is heresy anyway, so...
Actually, you would be proud of me. I don't think I have any... I'm trying to think. Don't think I have any Altmer styles there. The only elf thing I have that I can think of is actually the skull of an Ayleid king.
Oh, it's a Dead Altmer trophy. Okay, yeah, that could work. Yeah, that Dead Ayleid trophy. That is, yeah.
Well, it was the antiquity thing, and it's just sitting on a end table upstairs, like tucked away, because I thought it looked cool and a shiny crown. But there is like a bit of a mix and match of styles, so I think this is going to be one I'm going to revisit later on to kind of have I wanted this one to feel very homey, so my other house feels very much like a magical place, and I want this one to be like, oh, this is somebody's house, and they hang out with their friends here, and they also live here, and so I want like food stuff in there, and like seating areas, and a bed, and all of that, which that's in the other house, but it's like a levitating bed that would make anyone seasick trying to sleep in it, and things like that. So this is going to be like my practical house. But then I learned that with the red guard, like cool bed with the drapes over it and everything, you can't get in that bed. So I can't even...
The collider is the entire thing, so...
Yeah, that made me a little sad. I wasn't even the one who... I didn't figure that out myself. Somebody's like, oh, you can't get in this bed whenever they were visiting. I was like, well, now I need a new bed. I'm going to have to get a different one because that's not what I wanted. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun doing that. The new delves, there were a couple that I hadn't done by last show, including there's a delve that when you walk in and go down a little path, it opens up into this cavern with trees, and there's a campsite in the middle, and snow and bears, and it was just incredible. And it reminded me a lot of some of the hidden gems you'd find in the game Skyrim the game, more so than like Skyrim the zone.
Yeah.
And it was gorgeous. And then tonight, I forget what the delve is called, but it's the one with the creepy doll quest. And you walk in, and it's these gorgeous ancient Nordic ruins. And there's this big, like, canyon through the center of it with a river far down at the bottom and some fog settling on the river. It's just, the visuals in these delves are just amazing. And I had already been to Chillwind Depths a while ago, but walking in there and just getting to the room where suddenly the roof is just covered in these glowing whatever it is, and the whole thing is just lit up by these luminescent mushrooms and whatever other glowy plants are all around. It's completely mind-blowing, and I can't help but think back to base game where 99% of your delves were just a loop of a cave, and they all felt super similar. And just the leaps and bounds they've come from base game until now in delve design alone is incredible. So I've been really enjoying playing around in those and doing those dailies. Harrow Storms are still visually stunning. Overall, I am a huge Somerset fan because of how gorgeous that place is, but Western Skyrim has a beauty in a whole different way, and they are both. And then elsewhere too had the whole desert feel that was really cool, and then the jungles down in the southern region and everything. It's just, they just keep stepping it up, and I can't wait to see what else they come up with.
Yeah. We really saw their like talent go up over the years. Like actually watched them get better at everything that they do. Except the performance. Performance got a little bit of a hit, but we can look over that for now. But in terms of world design and dungeon design and, you know, overall feel of the game, they really got so better. With every new expansion, it's like taking longer and longer time to take screenshots, basically. It's such a beautiful game. It is one of the reasons why I keep going back to it as well. I mean, I've never been an MMO. I keep saying this. I've never been an MMORPG player. I don't really enjoy MMORPGs. The grind of it, the repeatable quests, the dailies. I hate them. But Elder Scrolls Online is just, it has so much more than just offering an MMORPG gameplay. So
yeah, I agree. And there was a really long time whenever I first started playing that I actually just played ESO as a single player game. And it was perfectly satisfying that way. And then I remember meeting somebody who was like, oh, I see you're a magic user and you're around my level. It was right after the game came out. Would you like some of this gear? Or I think it was about a month after it came out. And then like in between the solo questing I was doing, I would occasionally run dungeons with him and his guild and everything. So it was just like really cool that it did kind of feel like Skyrim with friends. Now it feels like that more so because you're not locked out by levels. Just the progression of the game has just been incredible. Like, yeah, there's performance issues, but the game itself, the stories, the storytelling is incredible in ESO. especially the side quests. The side quests are surprisingly deep for an MMO. Now, ESO was my first MMO, but I have since, like I mentioned earlier, tried out Final Fantasy XIV, and most of those just felt like, most of the side quests specifically felt like fetch quests. And ESO is, even if the quest is essentially go kill 5 bears, the story behind why you're killing the 5 bears is really good. And it makes you feel something.
ESO side quests are like, you go to someone, he says, kill 5 bears, and while you are doing that, you uncover a Daedric plot that leads to Aedra's disappearance, and then suddenly you find a Dwemer who is also, I don't know, Talos himself. It's like...
Exactly.
It branches out. The quest that you think is, come on, what do I have to do this, ends up having this super intricate background with a lot of emotions, a lot of hard decisions, feelings. There are very rarely useless quests in ESO, with even in main and side quests. Some of the side quests are even better than most main story quests of the game. And they don't just leave it there. And if you are paying attention, you see the story elements in the world as well. Like, you do a quest about 2 lovers, and one of them mentions he can't live without this is in Stonefalls, if I remember correctly. It's been so long. Like, one of them mentions, like, okay, he can't live without her and things like that, and the quest happens, things happen, you make a decision, and later on, if you pay attention, you find a body at the bottom of the walls of Ebonheart City with a note, and it's like, there are these like world elements to those side quests as well. It is pretty well made. Yeah.
And it just really makes it feel like, a lot of times, like, an MMO will suffer in some aspect. For example, like I said before, a lot of them just have side quests that are just go kill 5 bears, and it's just really boring, and then you move on. But I feel like this feels like a fleshed out game other than just being an MMO. Mm-hmm. So it's not just let's go kill hard things with friends. This is an actual game that you can play by yourself or with other people. It's probably better with other people, but you're going to have a great experience with a game just playing it by yourself too. And there's so much content that you can do solo. It's just really, really cool. And I think that's ultimately, it's so nice because, like I said, like, real life was stressful. So I'm like, I'm just going to do some stuff that is just nice and fun instead of my struggle bus dungeons to try to get achievements. So it's really cool that there is room to pivot there, so that way I can keep coming back to the game regardless of what kind of mood I'm in. There are times where I find myself burned out on the game as a whole, and like, I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing lately, but I've been mixing this in too and just doing some just easy stuff with friends, and it's been really nice. That variety is really, really good because it makes me feel like the game kind of has something for everyone still.
Yeah. And there's a point Crowley brought up in chat. So he said, once they are added someone I killed, I stopped caring about quests. Sorry. Which, it is true. So with the last 3 expansions, I think, 3 now. Well, yeah, last 2 I'm confusing my expansion. Last 2 expansions, okay, Elsewhere and Greymore. They did bring back characters that were potentially killed off in the original main storyline of the game. And they didn't really bring them back gracefully. They kind of brushed over how they returned. I honestly don't think that was a good decision in terms of, for everyone who enjoys immersion, for everyone who enjoys, story, how to say this, integrity, that was a little questionable. Yeah. Now, like I love Sai, I love Lyris, but and they weren't my decisions in the main original story. However, if they were, I would really be upset that they just popped out of death, like, and be like, hey, I'm returned. However, that is like one of the few mistakes among an absolutely amazing set of quests and storylines in the game. It's like, as I said, some of the, like, I just mentioned it, some of the side quests are better than the main storylines, and this is one of the times as well. Like, I mean, did I enjoy the dragon quest line? Not really, because it didn't make sense to me to just bring them back. But from a gameplay perspective, I understand, because dragon fights are really super fun. And I've been wanting a world boss event that was difficult enough, and hey, dragons bring that.
Right.
So it's sort of, it at some point in an MMORPG with a lifetime of, well, we just passed half a decade, we just passed 5 years, we are on our way to passing 6 years. I think, no, we passed 6 years, I don't know. Anyway, so we are nearing a decade, basically. We are on the closer end of a decade. You have to make compromises at some point to keep the gameplay interesting, keep things interesting. There will be times they'll be like, okay, what do we do now? Because keeping up with a 3 DLC, 1 expansion cycle is not easy either. So I kind of understand why they have to take some of the decisions that they take in terms of like bringing back dragons, things like that. Obviously, they're also trying to sell more, which is the main purpose of making a game. So, you know, dragons makes money because people love Skyrim, people love dragons. So, same with, I guess, the main story characters. They're like, they were very loved characters. So, I'm a bit conflicted. I try to be understanding, like play devil's advocate, but at the same time, I'm not really happy that they returned. I would have rather, if someone is dead, they should stay dead. This is not Supernatural.
Right. No, I completely agree with you. One thing that I was kind of thinking about, though, is they brought Lyris and Sai back like, at the same time they supposed that Abner is likely dead. Or presumed dead by the player character. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they're bringing back the other companions because we're going to reform to figure out what actually happened to Tharn and maybe go get him. So maybe in the next expansion, because right now Lyris and Sai are in separate parts of the world. But once they wrap up their stories, maybe they're going to reconvene with, well, definitely with each other, but well, not definitely, but you know, in my crazy theory, they're going to reconvene with the player and with each other in whatever the next challenge is. And maybe we're going to be rebuilding the 5 companions again, maybe without the Prophet, because I think most people killed him. And I feel like the reason why they brought back Sai and Lyris were because those 2 were not killed nearly as much as the Prophet. But we've already seen his spirit since the base game anyway. So it would almost make sense if we're reconvening, like they're introducing them back slowly over the course of a couple of years, just that way they can all work together again towards some huge threat that they have in their mind going forward that just hasn't come yet.
Okay, time for my favorite theory. It's actually not, it's actually something I think of, like this is my theory. So once you, in the original main storyline, once you hack Molag Bol's small avatar into 2 pieces, he says something along the lines of, you know, you fool, I am the god of, like, Daedric Prince of plans and schemes. You think you have beaten me? No. I am the Daedric Prince of plans and schemes. This is still my plan. This is still my scheme. So, he sort of makes it sound like you beating him with the help of Meridia and everything is still a part of his plan. Because he is the Daedric Prince of Schemes. He's not like, oh, you beat me, So he does make it sound like at some point that all of the things that are happening after we supposedly beat him and save Nirn is actually, in fact, is still part of his schemes. Now, if that is the case, my ultimate theory and what I would really love happening is going back to the original storyline. Like, going back to the roots, fighting Molag Bal again, and then if they tie these characters coming back up, because it was mentioned in chat just now as well, so if you had killed Lyris, and she's back, you ask her, like, yeah, what's up? How are you back? And she's like, I don't know. You go to Sai Sahan, and he's like, I don't know. Akatosh or something, I guess. So they don't know how the heck they are coming back. Now, the thing is, maybe it is the Prophet who did some magic things and brought them back. Maybe it's something else. But maybe, as you said, eventually we will gather the band back together and return to the original storyline and fight Molag Bal again. Or maybe fight Meridia, because I really want to fight Meridia.
Or if we're going to expand on your theory, maybe it was Molag Bal himself who was able to send them back.
Yeah.
Or the ideal Masters, since they essentially used the Amulet of Kings as a soul gem, maybe they ended up kind of in the Soul Cairn-like dimension where the ideal Masters have control. So some evil force is what thrust them back into the world, because some sort of catastrophe can happen by getting the gang back together again.
It's possible, yeah. That's like, if they tie it up like that, then I will be like, okay, well, I was wrong on Tales of Tamriel episode 242 about being upset about them coming back. However, yeah, I mean, it would be a fun theory for sure, at least for me. And that's what I think is happening. But yeah, we will see.
You're right. Because if you think about it, like you just said a minute ago, like it's very much unlike Zos to just not have any kind of real explanation for something.
Yeah.
Unless they're playing the long game here, which would completely make me reverse my former position too. Like they brought them back because it was part of some huge plot or something that Molag Bal had from the beginning. That would be really awesome.
Yeah.
Especially now, because we won't necessarily, like, Tharn was the one who shoved the soul inside the amulet, and Tharn's suddenly no longer with us. No matter which of the you chose. So we're not going to have Tharn, most likely, to help us.
Shove them back into the Amulet of Kings again, because... stop coming back! That is true, yeah. Dragon Breaks are not ZeniMax Online's, but yeah, Bethesda's, well, Elder Scrolls Universes in general, explanation to, yeah, we don't know, so we are just gonna call it Dragon Break, which is actually a nice escape, to be honest. It makes sense. Or rather, it doesn't make sense, but that's the whole point.
It's not supposed to make sense.
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea for sure. I've been fascinated by Dragon Breaks and the whole everything that happens in this torn apart reality. Whenever it ends, it's just all true, even if it's completely contradictory. It's interesting for sure.
I mean, it all comes down to the point that this game being an MMORPG, and it has a decade, at least a decade of lifetime, and they have to make shit up as they go along at some point. Like, you are gonna run out of ideas and content, and you are gonna have bad times, you are gonna have good times. 10 years in release and 10 years of development prior to that, that's a long time, guys. It's like, it's a massive long time. 20 years. If you think
and then
about
not
it,
only
so.
that, I mean, it's based on the original Elder Scrolls games to some degree. They all are. And the first one came out in what, 94? So
Yeah,
it's 27 now. So trying to keep a cohesive story with no contradictions for 27 years would be next to impossible. So dragon breaks are kind of a lore-friendly way to fix mistakes that they couldn't have thought. Like, I bet the original writers of Elder Scrolls Arena had no idea that we'd have Elder Scrolls Online in 2020.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to do something for a series that's lasted this long. Like, gosh, look at the Zelda timeline, for example. They don't even know where they had no idea of a timeline when they made most of those games. They just kind of kept making them and then tried to propagate backwards a timeline, and it was a mess. So, I mean, it's not like other games don't do it. Other series that have been going on forever.
Yeah. When was Ultima? Hold on. I'm curious about one thing. Ultima Online release.
Haven't heard of
19. So that's 1997. Ultima Online. And what is the first MMORPG? First MMORPG ever. Neverwinter Nights, apparently, and that is 9. Neverwinter Nights went live on AOL for PC owners 91 and ran through 97.
Wow.
Okay. I was like, maybe Elder Scrolls Arena, the first Elder Scrolls game, was before there were a concept of an MMORPG, but apparently there was one MMORPG that was called Neverwinter Nights. Want to look at that, sort of like a trivia.
Is there a new well, not new, but newer Neverwinter too? So I remember some of my Xbox buddies playing it.
There is Dungeons and Dragons Neverwinter MMORPG, but I'm not sure if that has anything to do with this Neverwinter Nights game. I just saw the name, so I don't know what's it about, but...
Yeah, I have no idea. I was just wondering because I just remembered a friend of mine talking about Neverwinter.
Yeah, I think Neverwinter is a Dungeons and Dragons MMORPG.
Oh, okay.
I remember playing one of the... It's the same game. Oh, okay, so Kraus is the same game, so yeah, you're right.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's really cool.
Alright, anything else, Pixie?
No, it was a pretty chill week for me.
Alright. Well, on my side of things, I still don't have a shield because I stopped trying as well. I was burned out of everything ESO related because of that. I still haven't done any Greymore story. I haven't been back to Greymore since launch. I'm completely ignoring Greymore's existence as it is. I will have to do the story at some point because, at least before the next DLC hits, but we will see. Instead, I've been doing a lot of dungeons and some trials. Trials with the Lore Seekers PC European Mega Server Guild every Friday. And dungeons with our new group put together by Lore Seekers PC raid leader Lunasphere. And we are calling ourselves the Untaunted, as I mentioned in the previous weeks. I prove our name true by keep forgetting to taunt things. So
your main job.
Yeah. I don't remember, since we skipped an episode last week due to 4th of July, I don't remember, I cancelled everything that weekend, so we didn't do a dungeon either. I was feeling very tired and I decided to rest instead. But this week, on Tuesday, we cleared Ice Reach hard mode speedrun, no death. Not at the same time, but it feels doable as well. And yesterday, we cleared Unhallowed Grave hard mode. Now,
nice.
Yeah, we are, as I said, we are clearing hard modes left and right. We are gonna, hopefully we are gonna run out of dungeons with this new DLC. Like, I don't think we can clear everything by the time this DLC hits, but with this DLC, we will have no dungeons that we didn't do no death speedrun hard mode. Then we are gonna move on to Black Rose Prison. Or rather, first, DSA, Dragon's Arena, probably do the achievements there. And then we're gonna move to Black Rose Prison and start throwing ourselves at Black Rose Prison and see how long until we all lose sanity. And if we clear that, or get totally burned out of Black Rose Prison, I think our plan is to go back and do the stupid achievements, like speed run hard mode for Ice Reach, or I don't know, doing the trifectas all at the same time, and things like that. That will be our aim. But it is a very amazing group. Shout out to Luna, Jen, and Kitsune. We have a fantastic group. We are burning through everything, destroying everything, and it's been cool. Honestly, at the moment that's the main thing that's been keeping me attached to the game, because like at the moment I don't want to do story, I don't want to do anything, but these dungeons and trying to get those achievements are really, really fun. And yeah. What else? I gotta give a shout out to Dan, one of our lore seekers, PCU, tank/DPSs. He's generally like, if he is available, we tank together as main or off tank. Last week I was like, at the last moment, because I was feeling very tired, I was like, do we have a backup tank? I mean, I was able to tank, but I just wanted to take the night off. He actually, like, in the last minute, rearranged the entire group. Like, he found a tank from one of the DPSs, and then he found another DPS to replace him, and then he like played with the chess pieces a bit, even though he is not like the raid leader, right? So Luna is our raid leader, so he actually got me off the raid at the like just a few hours before the raid, so I was able to get some rest. So Dan, I really appreciate that, man. What else? So Friday we attempted Veteran Halls of Fabrication. My first time in there in Veteran. I cleared it on normal back in like when it was first released, but in Veteran we didn't get through the first boss. We only got it down to 43%. No. Yeah, it was rough. It was a lot of fun, but it was chaotic. Goodness me. Like, the spheres, the moving, like, I can't move much, because if I turn the boss, it will nuke people. But at the same time, there's these, the lightning area effects, they drop, and then we move to kill the spheres. Fire was our other tank. So we move there, we move back, there's the Shulks spawn and trying to get the Shulks together. It's an absolute chaos. But I think next time we are in there, we are gonna finish it. So it was the first time in the Veteran Halls of Fabrication for a lot of people. So it was like a learning experience for all of us. So next time we are in there, we might not clear the entire thing, but at least I think we'll see the final boss. So yeah, looking sort of forward to that. Other than that, I haven't been doing much in ESO, as I said. Like, the dungeons and trials are the only thing I'm doing, because those are the things that especially trials, I've never done in ESO before dedicatedly. So they are kind of, after 6 years, new content for me. So I've been enjoying those. And dungeons, like having a dedicated dungeon group to clear achievements, that is also fun. And I think it'll stay like this for a while. Like, for a while, I'll just keep doing dungeons and trials, because I'm sort of way too invested in VR at the moment, VR stuff. Because until now, because of my GPU, I couldn't really utilize my VR. But now that I have a GPU, I have a proper GPU, I can utilize VR. So I started messing around with it. I got my contact lenses again, because with glasses it is painful. So yeah, I will probably be spending time in that. I do plan, however, to mod the hell out of Skyrim VR and try that in VR. I tried it without mods and it was like, ugh, what is this? Because all that beautiful Skyrim looks super ugly when you see all the textures right in your face. So I really need to mod it out. But with my GTX 980, I couldn't mod it out because like I barely run VR, but now I
Catch on
can.
fire.
So yeah.
I mean, you could just use your imagination.
No.
The original mod.
What's the point of being in VR though then? I can just
don't know. I was just trying to be helpful.
No, I will mod it. Another modding session. I'll probably do it on my vacation, which is coming up on well, from the end of July plus 10 days. I was planning to play New World, and then they pushed it to 2021. So
Yeah, that was quite a delay.
that didn't work out. That was like one part of the vacation plan was that, like, play ESO and start New World, and they just pushed the entire game like a year.
How close was it to releasing? Wasn't it supposed to come out in August?
Yeah, 25 August was supposed to be full release.
That's like a last minute delay of a year.
So,
That's kind
okay,
of...
what happened is, New World, okay, well, this is Tales of Tamriel, but now we are a little bit of New World, but here we go, some trivia. So New World was initially supposed to be the sandbox, very PvP-focused game. Basically, people could spear you as soon as you spawned into the world. Well, not really, but like pretty new into the game, and someone could be like, smack, and you'd be dead. And you would lose all your items on you and things like that. So it was gonna be this very hardcore sandbox game, but that was also going to result in player-made events such as, oh, you are gonna trade to city or settlement A, you would hire one of these mercenary guilds that would protect you. Because the game, being that hardcore and being that sandbox, would force people into forming certain organizations and playstyles. Then they did the alpha testing, and people griefed the hell out of everyone.
Yeah, I can see that coming.
Yeah. So they decided, okay, you know what? We are gonna turn PvP into an opt-in system. So you would opt into PvP, and if you die, you don't lose stuff. The problem is, the game was like very heavily PvP focused. So I doubt they had any PvE content to fill the space, fill the gap. So now that they have gotten rid of the PvP, the game no longer has any meaningful content. So they probably had to push it a year away to fill it back in without PvP being the open world main focus that it was. That is my theory.
Well, I mean, if everybody would just play the game right, in air quotes, it would have been really cool, and it's a really cool concept, but I mean, it's an online game. People aren't going to play it the right way. There's going to be people who are just going to be jerks.
Yeah, that was the whole, like, initially, at least the vision of the game was exactly that. Because, like, you would hold a territory, and you would not let people farm or level or quest in your territory as a guild, for example. Like, you would have a castle in the middle of it, and you would just nuke everyone who comes through unless they make a certain agreement, for example, and things like that. But obviously it resulted in massive grief, which the PvP community was okay with it, but as Brutus in chat just said, the opt-in system is the only reason why I bought it, he said. That is also true. A lot of people are also looking to the game now because they won't be griefed to death and boredom. So it kind of split the community into two. By the way, all of this is why I want to start a New World podcast sometime soon. I was planning to do that, but they pushed the game away, so I don't know. Maybe. Because I got a lot to talk about New World. I want to discuss New World, and I don't have a podcast to discuss it on. So,
so you get it on Tales instead.
So if one of our listeners would like to host a New World podcast and you have the audio equipment for it, basically decent audio, to let me know and we'll talk. Because I don't have a co-host, as we speak, so I'm just dropping random information on Pixie instead.
I'm interested. It wasn't a game that I just saw the announcement, I think this morning, that it was pushed back like an entire year. Like people say that it's bad that Cyberpunk got pushed back twice, but at least it was like a few months out and it wasn't an entire year away. Like it got, I think the original release was supposed to be in April, but like towards the beginning of the year, they pushed it back to September. And then
November
last
now.
month they pushed it back to November now. But that's still not an entire year out. So
I'm not sure if it's an entire year. I think it might be 2021 Q1, so like spring Q1 Q2. Okay. I remember a spring, but I don't know if it was about New World. Like there is a spring release date somewhere in my mind. I don't know for which game it is.
I think you're right. I think it's New World.
Yeah.
I guess I think of spring as like April or May instead of thinking of spring as like February or March. And that's just a thing in my brain. I think of like late spring, early summer whenever I see spring. So I'm like, oh, that's a year. Because we're in July now. And
that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah.
And
yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say what you were saying with how like trials are new content for you. It's actually the exact same for me. I never had a dedicated trials group that I was a part of until the Lore Seekers progression team on NA. And we've actually we took the week off last week. So I don't think, well, I guess we did do it just after the last Tales. We've been progressing. I guess I should have talked about this during my Tales, but you just reminded me talking about yours. We've been progressing through VSS to get some more people geared out. And, Mission, who's our trials lead, who's fantastic, he asked, so I'm on a Necromancer, and then we have a couple other people who play a Necromancer who are DPS. So instead of using my group res, which is great for trials, he told me to switch to Colossus, and then we just have Colossuses down at all times. And it took our DPS, I think at one point we were hitting like 600k DPS as a group, but I could be misquoting. Ooh. Our DPS is just insane, and we're just coordinating so much better. So just the what I have learned as a trials player from working with this group is just I feel like my skill has gotten better since playing with them. I feel like it translates to other parts of the game as well. Like I'm learning things through osmosis, even about like tanking and all of that, just like watching everybody else do their thing. And it's been really, really cool to be a part of that with so many people and getting to see these new crazy parts of the game. Like I still haven't seen Halls of Fabrication. We haven't done that one yet. So there's still all of this new content that's going to be open to me soon once we get to it. And it's super exciting. So I get how you feel there.
And I agree on the like improving part, because I've always been an above average tank in ESO, because that's all I've done in ESO, tanking. But like ever since we started doing the trials, I've gotten a lot better. For example, when Unhallowed Grave was first released and we were running with Rankenborns, Ophelia Noir's guild, we tried hard mode on Unhallowed Grave like 5 times. Each attempt took like 5 seconds. Because as soon as I walked up to the boss, something hit me and I died. And then we tried again. Like, something hit me a couple times and I died. I was like... this happened like 5 times and we were like, okay, yeah, let's not... It's late anyway. We had done Ice Reach first too. So we're like, okay, yeah, let's just do normal veteran. Yesterday, I think I died once in the Unhallowed Grey hard mode, and we cleared it with a single wipe, basically. So, I am getting quite better in tanking as well. Also, I figured out I can just spam Bone Shield and then defensive stance and don't block anything. Instead, just weave heavy attacks. and do bone shield, defensive stance, heavy attack, bone shield, defensive stance, heavy attack, and do nothing else. And because they give me over 30k damage shield, I don't die. Apparently that was a thing I've never used. Like, all this time, I had 35k damage shield lying around, and I never really used them together. I don't know why. I always used like bone shield plus igneous shield, or defensive stance plus igneous shield. Because the last boss on hard mode of Unhallowed Grave hits really hard, I was like, oh wow, this is hurting. I'm gonna use all my damage shields, and I used all my damage shields, and apparently I have over 40k damage shields, and I can sustain it, because when I have 40k damage shields, I don't have to block, unless it's a one-shot mechanic. But even if it's a one-shot mechanic, it rarely hits over 60k. So yeah, I mean, well, some of them hit for like 400k or something, but
I got hit by a 500k one shot.
Yeah, they want you to dodge roll. That's the mechanic. I mean, you can't block that either anyway, so yeah. Alright, well, that brings us to the end of my tales, so Lotus, how about you?
I know, this is so strange.
Alright, well, anything you want to add, Pixie? If not, where people can find you and things like that, the usual stuff.
You can find me on Twitch at HyperPixie Gaming and on Twitter at HyperPixie Games.
Alright. And you can find me anywhere that is Arkhaniir, Arkhaniir. If you stumble upon my Twitch channel, ignore it. We stream everything over at twitch.tv/dungeoncrawlernetwork.com now. We are on Twitter on multiple accounts. That is Tales of Tamriel and Dungeon Crawl Net because of the letter limits. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork. We have a website which is still undergoing improvements because I didn't have time to actually finish it up, but it's dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. We have our Patreon if you want to be a torchbearer, a vanguard, a knight, or a champion. That is patreon.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork. Well, you see the pattern. If you type in Dungeon Crawler Network, we should come up. If that's not us, then it's strange. But yeah, anything Dungeon Crawler Network related should be us. You can give us a 5-star review on iTunes if you want to support us there as well. It helps people know that we are a real podcast, that we say real words, and sometimes they matter. We will see you all next episode with hopefully a full crew again. Hopefully people stop having lives because this is more important, as we all know. But thank you all so very much for joining us on this episode of Tales of Tamriel. And we will see you all next week. Have a good one, night, everyone.
Bye, guys.
When Akatosh slew Lorcan, he ripped his heart right out. He hurled it across Tamriel, and the heart was heard to shout, red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. The laughing heart sprayed blood afar, a gout on Seer it fell, and like a dart shot to its mark down in an alien well. Magicka fused the Lorcan blood to crystal red and strong. Then wild elves cut and polished it down to chimel at a ball. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. When elves lost Nirn to men, Akatosh gave the stone to Saint Alesh in token of her right to sit the throne. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. Red diamond, protect us till the end.